Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's Friday. It's August 16th, 2024. It's Friday. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're going to have a good weekend. In case you don't know, this is serious talk about everything that affects you, and we cover everything. We used to just do 100% markets, and then we realized so much outside interference would affect those markets, so we cover them as much as we think they should be covered, and as we head into the election, we're really going to soup things up. And we'll cover the markets, the election, the economy, jobs, unemployment, taxes, deficits, spending, scam, shams, corruption, crime, you name it, we cover it with no agenda, ulterior motive, no bias whatsoever. We hate them all. You know what we mean by all. And if you do not get this show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. And if you'd like to email us, just be nice. We have this one person that sent this whole 8 paragraphs or whatever with a fake email address and made no sense whatsoever. It's okay. We're nice. You can email us with your name and your email. It's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we forgot to mention something big time yesterday, and it really does not have a direct effect on markets, but it has a direct effect on the economy, especially in certain cities. And you may not think there is a tie-in, what I'm going to bring up just for a couple of minutes, but there really is. Did you read about Matthew Perry, that they arrested, I think 4 or 5 people, and charged him with crimes that led to his death? A doctor or 2 that fed him this ketamine, where there were texts about one saying the other, how much money can we get from him? Taking advantage of a man that obviously was addicted to drugs. They arrested a drug dealer. A woman, I hear they call her the ketamine queen. And then there was somebody else. I think it was 4 people, maybe 5. And I was watching this, and I was just thinking to myself, because they interviewed one of the heads of the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency. And they really did not ask the important question of, were these arrests an outcome because this is newsworthy, celebrity? And the DEA woman answered it pretty good about how, no, we're here to protect and serve and this and that and all that stuff. Okay, I'm cool. I'm good with that. There's just only one problem. Leave no doubt, these arrests are because of Matthew Perry and his celebrity. And I've been thought to myself how many arrests they would make if they treated every one of these incidents like they're treating Matthew Perry. And I say that because there is not a day that goes by that I don't read about this person and that person and this person and that person that committed all kinds of crimes in different cities and get away with it. And you're reading the same thing that I'm reading. Do you know, and I'm not making this up, this is not a movie. I'm not following up. a Peruvian gang leader that was a suspect and is a suspect in 23 killings in Peru was arrested in New York. He's been wanted for these killings, was arrested at Endicott, New York. He's now being held at a federal detention. And they had him, and then they didn't. And every day, I'm reading about the next guy, the next crook, and the next crook, and the next crook that beat the crap out of somebody, that knifed somebody in the streets, that was let go for whatever reason. But all of a sudden, we've got this celebrity that died of a drug overdose, and all of a sudden, we've got all these arrests. And by the way, we're not complaining about the arrests, but we just know in certain cities right now, in Central Park in New York, it is now well known that gangs of teens and youngsters from other countries are laying waste to people. They're robbing them. They're robbing them. In Central Park. I've told my sons, no Central Park at night. But they're also doing it during the daytime. And I can go on and on and on about this. And you ask, oh, markets, what? Crime has everything to do with the economy. There are certain cities right now that kind of like the wild, wild west. I hear from people that are in these cities. They send me clippings, local clippings, of things that are happening in the cities. We'll see how it goes. I just thought it interesting that the level playing field that they continue to tell us that there is a bunch of bullcrap. Is a bunch of bullcrap. These arrests are an outcome of a famous man that died. They're saying at the hands of others, but, I would suggest he was part of the problem, don't you think? Anyway, I just wanted to start with that because I really think it all, in the end, intertwines, especially in cities. And in California, this yutz of a governor now is starting to remove homeless encampments, while he's spending all kinds of taxpayer dollars on all kinds of numbskull stuff. Total waste. We move on. Which takes us to the vice president, who is polling pretty damn well now for the presidency. She was out, still not doing any interviews. How dare she do any interviews? But was out today with her economic plans. And yeah, this is important. This is huge. As you know, we have been a loud voice on the continued takeover of the government as we create $1 and they spend $1.30 or $1.40. The continued increase in rules, in regulations, in fees, in fines, in mandates, and control, and taxes, and this and that and the other thing. You see it every day. You feel it every day. On top of that, the whitewashing of the last 3.5 years. And the media enabling it. All we ask of the media is just do your job. Treat everybody the same way. We're talking the anchors, not the opinion people. Just do your job. Treat everybody the same way. Hold the powerful to account. They need to account for their good and their bad, especially their bad. They do a great job with Trump. We'll talk her policies today. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge
The last bastion of quality programming.
with Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
So, as you know, a President Kaltbaum on the economic front would have taxes low, government regulations, we need them, but not onerous. And there's a fine line on that. You tend to feel your way through that on certain things. And get the hell out of the way. And when I mean have regulations, yeah, there should be some. Credit card companies shouldn't be able to charge you 80%. There should be full and fair disclosure. I think airlines need to do better. I think hotels need to do better on their fees that are disclosed in a weird way. I hate when I watch on TV an infomercial that tells you, take this pill. I got to be careful. I'll do it a different way. Take this pill and you'll lose 50 pounds in the next 3 months. And at the bottom, there's scribble that Superman couldn't read that says, well, you'll have to do 100 calories a day food and do a marathon each day and lose that 50 pounds on top of taking the pill. We believe in full and fair disclosure. We think it's the way that should be. But just get the hell out of your way. We would recognize that we're the driving force of the economy, not them. We would also recognize what the definition of success and failure is. Failure is a government running $2 trillion deficits. Failure, by the way, done on purpose. The big con of turning $100 billion into a footnote. Hey, guess what? We gave $150 billion of your tax dollars, even though we say it's us, to forgive student loans. Yeah, it's only $150 billion. And as you know, for 3 years I've been ripping Joe Biden because he's a lying sack. The worst ever. And that's after the last guy I say that. The worst liar ever lies every day on everything he does. And I mean that. The Washington Post put a 10,000 lies of Donald Trump in their newspaper. I don't know if you know that. I think it was like 10,000. They did a whole few pages of Donald Trump's lies. They don't mention a thing about Joe Biden and his blatant, in plain sight lies. And as you know, one of my favorites, as I've mentioned a couple of times, is he stood across from Erin Burnett, a CNN anchor, who used to be on CNBC, well known as a brilliant woman, knows money, knows numbers, and Joe Biden looked at her and said, "We cut the deficit big time," and she stood there and didn't say a frickin' word. Why? Well, we're not going to piss off our side. They've shown who they are, so we're not going to get this straight. And that's all he's done is lied about everything. We cut the deficits. Big, fat, juicy lie. Big, fat, juicy lie. We cut the debt. Big, fat, juicy lie. Over the next 10 years, we cutting the deficits $3 trillion. Big, fat, juicy lie. The border is secure. Big, fat, juicy lie. The border's the Republicans' fault. Big, fat, juicy lie. We cut child poverty in half. Big, fat, juicy lie. Supermarkets are gouging you. That's why the inflation. Big, fat, MFing juicy lie. And I can just keep going and going. And of course, the last big juicy lie with Biden was, it was his decision to step down for the next election. They threatened his ass, and he got out. Which takes us to Kamala Harris, and you never know what you're going to get. And may I stay up front, we don't know what she really wants, because we do know most politicians are very good panderers at election time. It's called, we're going to just try to hand out as much candy as we can, even though we're not going to, but we're going to tell you we are. As I said to you in high school, I was up for most witty in the, I think it was senior class. I was giving out candy left and right to people. I'm thinking, oh, all right. No, I ended up coming in second to Steven Schrago, who is not wittier than me, but he still won. But I was giving out the candy. So you don't know really what she's means, but then you put all the pieces of the puzzle together. Number one, her past. Number two, the administration that she was a part of. And all we know is it's a very Marxist administration. And we don't use that as a pejorative. We actually mean it. Marxism on an economic front is rules, regulations, fees, fines, mandates, taxes, giveaways, control. And that's they use all of that to control. Hey, we're going to give out $150 billion of your tax dollars, even though we say we're giving it. Please vote for us. Yeah, okay. What student wouldn't? Imagine, I got $24,000 in student loan debt, and then you open up the mail, and hey, guess what? Joe Biden just used the taxpayers to forgive me. I'm voting for him. What am I? I can't blame that person. And as we've said to you, the great con is they're just using debt to do it all. And the debt is so gargantuan now because of them and the trajectory going forward that $100 billion is a freaking footnote. So I watched Kamala Harris today, and the best way I can explain it, she's supersizing Joe Biden, the Biden-Harris administration, Marxism. I don't even need to get into it, each and every one of them. I want you to go look later. We're going to give you this, we're going to give you that, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you that, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you that, and this is what Trump's going to do. He's going to take away this, he's going to take away that. He doesn't care about you, he hates you, he doesn't like you, he's going to only give to the billionaires, blah, 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 blah. And we know that's all a bunch of lies, because we all know that hey, you know what Biden was before he was out of the election? He was in Beverly Hills at Spielberg's or Katzenberg's house raising $100 million one night with the big billionaire mucky mucks that he says are tax cheats. So we're just letting you know she's out there today, and everything was a giveaway. We'll put a bow tie on it. We'll hit the markets. That's up next. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
So, she's out there today, and basically, Trump hates you. He's going to take away this, take away that, and give it all to billionaires. That was the mantra, and we're going to give you all this. And by the way, it's all dollars. We're going to give you this for that. $25,000 if you do this, $6,000 if you do that, $5,000 if you do this, $10,000 if you do that. And what you have to realize is it's all debt. They don't have the money. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are running a $2 trillion debt this year. This is a record amount that they say they've cut the debt. You can believe what you want. We're stating our case. Our economy cannot stand what they are trying to do. And as we stated, we doubt they're going to get much of this done. And if they win the White House but lose the Senate, they ain't get anything done. And I must tell you, if she does win the White House, the Republicans better win the House or the Senate. Because we already know the next part of their equation, the first part is the con, is the spending. The massive debt and deficits, the next part is massive taxes. Because you make too much money and you're not paying your fair share, or you're a tax cheat and we're coming after your ass. Those are the mantras, and people are clapping and everything like that. Yay. The economy will not be able to stand the giveaways, the taking and the giving. Picking winners and losers instead of letting the world be. You know, the Kaltbaum mantra. But the other part of the equation is control freakism. You see, under their watch, inflation had exploded. We know that. Under their watch. And while it exploded, they told us it was transitory. The media has conveniently forgot that and won't question on that, but that's the story. But now we're being told how she is going to concentrate on lowering prices when for 3.5 years they missed the whole beat. And who's to blame? The supermarkets. The supermarkets are gouging you. Did you know that? The supermarkets that I believe in the last year had a margin, I can't even, the profit margin was like nothing. And I posted or retweeted on my X feed, go look at the video of John Taffer from Bar Rescue. He'll explain it better than I could, but if you price control the supermarkets, guess what also gets screwed? If you price control this, it goes towards that. And then the idea that a government that's running $2 trillion deficits knows how to control an industry? Holy crap. So it was about 20 to 30 minutes of sheer economic Marxism. Sheer economic control freakism. Scare the living crap out of people that really not paying much attention by telling them how much they're going to give to you. But don't worry, we're going to take away from them. You know, those mean, successful people that have too much money. It's ill, it's sick, and she is supersizing, or at least trying to, what they've already done. And that, of course, is taking out a new credit card with a higher credit limit to pay for the last one. And we'll leave it at that. Go watch John Taffer's video that's on my X feed that I put up there. I retweeted it, or whatever they call it. And he said it about as good can be. Even a Democratic hack came out today and said, this is never going to happen. It's buying votes. We'll see. The markets. So to give you an idea of how hard we work at this, but sometimes last Monday, we were out of the market. We mostly missed the big drop. On Monday, we actually identified that a low was put in with that big volatility washout that we have told you about. We even put out the note. We did no buying. The reason we did no buying, we have this thought process. We want to see the market prove itself. We want some confirmation the worst is over. Even though I thought that was a really darn good washing out of the late sellers. I was adding up the numbers of what I thought I can make if I just took of the 100% of the money I have, just 25%, and left 75% in cash. I made some darn good coin. So we're adding new wrinkles, and we've been doing this for a long time, but we're always looking for another edge. That's what success stories always do, and I consider myself somewhat successful. Always looking for an added edge on top of what you believe the edges you already have. Because as I look at it, going back to that day, due to the fact that we got out very well, if we were wrong and the market kept slipping, and by the way, if it really broke from there, we would have been entering bear market territory, even though the semis were already down 28% at the lows. And as it has, and we had no idea, we've had this one hell of a move back up in 9 more trading days from that Monday. And there's no way of predicting that. No way. From here, I must tell you, not even sure, except to say, as long as the big indices hold back above the 50-day moving average, opportunity. A break below, see ya. And I got to tell you, the last ETF we sold is now higher than where we sold, even though it got crushed after we sold it Just telling you what a move back up. So just rates a big wow. We use the word outlier. This has been an outlier move back up, out of the norm, completely. And it just tells us going forward, no matter what, when we see that big freaking washout again, if we ever do see that again, we're going to add to what we think is already a pretty big edge in the market from all the scanning and scans that we do. Stunning last 9 days. Absolutely stunning. For the archives, and as we've told you, we have thousands of charts printed out in separate folders from different times, different looks in the market. This one will be probably a nice little marker highlighted, but we do know, doesn't happen often. But if it ever does again, and we're still alive, we'll be ready. Market drifted up again today, much quieter, up 96 on the Dow, a few Dow names up, really nothing down. S&P 11, NASDAQ only 37, NASDAQ 118, transport 72. Advanced declines pretty good. Don't have much to complain about, except I had one stock go down today. Dang it. Up next, we'll finish off the week with the market. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to
What are we waiting for?
Well, what are you waiting for?
1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. By the way, interest on our national debt brought to you by these people, and let's be fair, brought to you by Biden, Trump, Obama, Bush, and all before them. But before Bush, all were pikers in adding to our debt. Bush, the compassionate conservative, started it in a much bigger way. Obama, I'm going to cut the deficit in half, really supersized. Trump, hey, I wrote the art of the deal and I'm going to get rid of debt and deficit. It's going to be easy. Lied also and just ran up spending left and right. And then you get the Superman of debt, Joe Biden. By the end of 25, their thinking is the expense on interest on the debt is going to be higher than Social Security. And by the end of 26, higher than Medicare, to be the single largest federal government expense brought to you by these miscreants, notice the big word, over the past years. And this goes anybody in the House, anybody in the Senate that voted for them, and the longer they've been there, the guiltier they are. That's why every time I see Schumer and Pelosi and McConnell and all them, I vomit. Back on markets. So as first off, gold broke out of range today with some volume. The last time it tried, it failed. I lost money on the last breakout, made money on the prior breakouts, and we'll see if it sticks. Gold. The big breakout came in February. The big long-term breakout came in February, and it's on the move. And this doesn't light up the scoreboard like NVIDIA did in January for, straight up, but looks higher. We'll see. For all we know, it fails again, but we wanted to provide you with the fact that it did break out. That would be number one. The S&P is back above the 50-day moving average, and let me just state for the record, not that it's back above the 50-day. We've seen corrections. Not so sure I've seen one that crashed for 3 days and got it back in 9. By the way, not from the highs, but from a lower high. The Dow, same, and actually a little bit stronger than the S&P. Dow's 30 names, and you can have a couple of things stick out, make it look better. The NASDAQ, just sitting on the 50-day moving average today. The NASDAQ 100, I'm going to say a little bit above. The Russell 2000 is above, but how do I describe? Remember I said yesterday, looks like Devil's Tower is above it? It is. And we'll see how that plays out. Same thing goes for the mid-caps. But just a little bit more improvement today. The financials and banks, better today, but I will tell you there's a separation in banking land. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, good. Bank America, Citigroup, others, not so good. Do I have any complaints yet on this move? Well, I always whine and complain about something, but not yet. I'm not able to come on here and say, uh-oh, just yet. There was some things down today like these semi-equipment makers because Applied Materials coughed one up, but even that was down $10 early on their earnings, finished only down 4. Okie doke. I do worry about the earnings, even though you keep being told about how earnings are good, but when Deere goes up nicely yesterday and up another 4 today on a 38% drop in earnings and a 17% drop in sales, it's worrisome. Why? Because if earnings and sales keep going down but a stock goes up, that's valuations, and eventually too high valuations get taken back in the woodshed, and you know what happens then. We'll see. And there's still plenty of stocks that are not in good shape, but rallying up. You know, I dropped from 460 down to 390, and I'm now 405. There's still plenty of that out there. And you got to be wary about that. What we're always looking for is leadership, great relative strength, the ability to lead the market, not have the market drag you up. Any big events coming soon, I hear? Powell's going to be speaking in Jackson Hole next week, blah, blah, blah. Earnings, just a ton of are out. We're in the middle of, there's a few that do midpoint earnings, not at the end of regular quarters. So there's a few of those, but nothing that really stands out except NVIDIA, not this coming week, but the week after. And NVIDIA has nicely V-shaped up. Here's the amazing part of NVIDIA. Nice little V-shape up the last 5 days. No days of heavier volume. And today was up, I think another buck and change today. Volume was 70% below the norm of the stock. We'll see if that has repercussions going forward. I know you heard about, the retail numbers better, and that's doing this, and the economy is on whatever footing. Let me just state for the record, I'm not too sure of that. We'll be watching that closely. As you know, we do our own channel checks and government statistics. Are you kidding me? What'd we tell you going into the election? There'll be no bad government statistics coming out? Oh, come on, Gary. They wouldn't lie to us, would they? Oh, well, let's believe somebody's running a $2 trillion deficit. We're big believers in Missouri, the show me state. Just letting you know. So we'll go into next week, definitive improvement. We'll see where it takes us. Still plenty of work to do, but one hell of a record-breaking comeback. You all have a great weekend. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do, quite simply. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Thanks for joining us. Until Monday. Peace out all. Bye-bye.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.